Peppa Pig is a show full of mysteries, and some of them are super bizarre. Are you ready to uncover the secrets behind the Little Piggies cartoon?
Peppa Pig.
Pirate. Have you ever noticed that the pirate and Mr. Fox might actually be working together? In fact, there's even a possibility they could be the same person. Yes, this mystery is pretty well known among Peppa Pig fans. Let's start by pointing out that both characters are a mystery. They have two things in common. The first is that they're both known as thieves in Peppa's universe, and the second is that they're both redheads. But here's something almost no one has noticed. Mr. Fox's shop has tons of things related to the sea, almost as if he had stolen them all, just like a pirate. Mr. Fox himself says he has everything a sailor could possibly want, and when Peppa asks if he has a treasure chest, Freddy's dad says no. But that's strange, since Mr. Fox usually likes to sell absolutely anything. It's pretty odd that he doesn't have exactly what a pirate would want to keep for himself. Of course, because a pirate would never give up his own treasure, right? And here's even more proof. In the boat section of the shop, there's a piece of blue and white striped fabric, but haven't we seen that somewhere before? That's the exact same fabric from Pirate Redbeard's shirt. Could it be that Mr. Fox can actually transform into a human? Let's find out about that and so much more right now. Grab your popcorn, Cinewave is about to begin. Humans. Humans in the world of Peppa Pig are a huge mystery. So far, we've only seen 4 of them. The first is Pirate Redbeard himself, who walks around town searching for treasure. The second is the Queen, who lives in London. We've also seen Santa Claus during Christmas, and a little farm girl who appears on a billboard in Times Square, New York. But where are all the other humans in Peppa's universe? For a long time, people thought they had disappeared because of some disease or tragedy, but there's another theory to explain this mystery. What if humans actually turned into animals? That would explain why the characters behave like humans in the series. Plus, it would also solve the mystery of why there are so few people in the episodes. Maybe some humans just didn't want to turn into animals. But why would they do that? This is another mystery the show has never answered. Maybe it's because people wanted to become stronger and found in animals everything they needed to achieve that. What do you think of this theory? Ben and Holly. Have you ever heard of the cartoon Ben and Holly? It's a story set in a magical world of fairies and elves. So what does that have to do with Peppa Pig? Everything! That cartoon was also made by the same creators of Peppa Pig, and we believe the two shows might actually exist in the same universe. Let's start by showing that Pirate Redbeard appears in both series, but it doesn't stop there. Ben and Holly also show up in Times Square when Peppa travels to New York. Now, that's really a mystery. Could it mean the two shows are connected and share the same universe? Maybe yes, especially since a fairy has already appeared in Peppa's cartoon. That happened in the episode where the Tooth Fairy came to swap a coin for the main character's tooth. In other words, it's proof that magical creatures exist in the pig family's world. So could it be that one day these characters will actually meet? Miss Rabbit. Have you noticed that Miss Rabbit is one of the biggest mysteries in this universe? Maybe she's a clone and not even a real person. Yep, this secret is one of the strangest of all. Let's start by remembering that Miss Rabbit has a twin sister, Mrs. Rabbit, who is Rebecca's mom, and the two are daughters of Grandpa Rabbit. But everyone has noticed that Miss Rabbit seems to be in several places at once. And in the episode set in New York, we even find out there's a Miss Rabbit in every city of the world, which means there are thousands of her. That's weird. Why is Miss Rabbit the only one with countless versions of herself while her sister isn't? The answer might be simpler than you think. Their father, Grandpa Rabbit, is a brilliant scientist. Maybe he didn't actually have 2 daughters at all, but only one, Mrs. Rabbit, Rebecca's mom. Maybe this character cloned his own daughter thousands of times. One of those clones thinks she's Mrs. Rabbit's twin, while all the others are spread out across the world. But why would Grandpa Rabbit clone his daughter? Simple, to take over the world. All the Miss Rabbits run the businesses, and because of that, the family is filthy rich. Could this really be the truth? But would you like to be a Peppa clone? Drop a hashtag pig in the comments so we can get to know ya. Queen. One of the biggest mysteries involves the Queen of Peppa's universe. This character lives in London, and she's a clear reference to Queen Elizabeth II. But there's a big problem. She lives completely alone in the castle. Nobody has ever seen a single relative of hers, and in the episode where Peppa goes to visit Her Majesty, we find out there isn't even a single servant or guard in the castle to help or protect the leader of the country. That doesn't make any sense. Could she really be all alone? Or maybe she's actually a prisoner since the animals have taken over the whole world. Either way, it's a huge mystery that the show has never answered. Where's the Queen's family? Why doesn't she have a single servant or even a guard? That's pretty weird, don't you think? Powers. Out of all the mysteries in Peppa, one of the biggest ones is the vegetables that walk and talk like people, but the biggest of them all is Super Potato. He's a movie hero, but his powers aren't special effects. This character actually has powers and he can really fly. And as much as it's a cartoon, we can still say this doesn't make any sense, not just because he's a potato, but because the show never explains where all those powers came from. Was he born with this ability? Or is he the result of some top secret scientific experiment? This mystery has never been answered. Will we ever find out the truth about Super Potato? Another sister? Have you ever heard about Peppa's twin sister? There's some evidence that this character exists, but it's a mystery because even though this little pig is the subject of many theories, there's one detail that has always kept fans curious. That image. Yes, you know exactly what we're talking about. The photo that shows another piglet inside the pig family's house. And the reason this photo made it into our list is because it's official. This picture was made by the creators of the show, which means that mysterious piglet is an official character. But where is she? That has never been answered. But one theory is that fans kept asking the creators so many times to reveal Peppa's sister that they decided to create Evie Pig. So could the piglet in that picture actually be a glimpse of Evie's future? We'll find out very soon when this little pig grows up. Pigs. Speaking of mysterious piggies, we've got a question. Where are the other pigs in the show? Have you noticed that Peppa's family is the only one of their kind in the entire cartoon? Peppa has traveled to lots of places around the world, and still no one has ever seen another pig who isn't related to her. Could they be hiding somewhere? Or worse, could they have been eaten? We know that Mr. Wolf is one of the characters who most often threatens Daddy Pig's life. He never misses a chance to say how much he would love to eat Peppa and her whole family. That's why we can say that maybe the other pigs are hiding from him. Or worse, they've already been eaten. We know this because Mr. Wolf likes to blow people's houses down, but Daddy Pig is the only character he can't get to because the pig family's house is made of bricks. That's a direct reference the creators made to the story of the three little pigs, and that's why the doubt remains. Could it be that the other pigs were really eaten? If you don't want to become Mr. Wolf's next snack, you'd better subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell. Labrador. Do you know Mr. Labrador? He's one of Mr. Bull's co-workers, but have you noticed that this character has a really strange mystery? It seems he likes to follow Peppa's family around. When they traveled to London, he was there. And you might think that was just a coincidence, but nope, he was also there in Paris. And on top of that, Mr. Labrador also showed up in New York City on the very same day the pig family went to visit the United States. That's really weird, don't you think? Why does he always travel to the exact same places as the main character, and always at the exact same time? Could he actually be a spy? Crocodile. Now, if you want to hear about a big mystery, let's talk about Mrs. Crocodile. This character wouldn't seem mysterious at all if it weren't for one single detail. She's a reptile, and that's unusual in Peppa's world. But why? If you pay close attention, all the animals in the series are mammals. Pigs, sheep, dogs, rabbits, elephants, they're all mammals. Mrs. Crocodile is the only one of her species, and that's really strange. Where are the other crocodiles? Why did Madame Gazelle get scared of her in the zoo episode? Could it be that mammals are afraid of reptiles? So many questions. Edmund. How can we talk about the mysteries in Peppa's world without mentioning Edmund Elephant? This character is one of the biggest geniuses in the show. He knows a lot about science and promises to become one of the greatest inventors in the world. But why isn't his sister Emily as smart? That's strange because they're siblings. And sure, we can say that family members can be different. Peppa and George are different. But if Edmund is that smart, shouldn't Emily be somewhat like him too? Plus, we know that all of Edmund's intelligence is a reference to a real-world fact, the fact that elephants have really big brains. That's why here we're left with a big mystery. Where does Edmund's genius really come from? School. And finally, one of the coolest mysteries in Peppa Pig is about what Peppa learned in school when she was younger. Let's think about how this is really a secret. George started school at age 2. That means Peppa also started at 2. But the main character is now 4 years old, and her little brother is in the exact same class as her. The same thing can be said about the younger siblings of Peppa's friends. Richard Rabbit and Edmund Elephant are also in the same class. But if the younger kids are in the same classroom as the older ones, what was Peppa learning in school when she was George's age? Do you see how that doesn't make sense? It really is one of the biggest mysteries of the show. And now, it's no secret that your fun will keep going. We've picked out 2 more videos for you to choose from. We'll see you in the next video. See you soon!